hard. Mash was not there to back him up at the level 2 all-in.
Right.
Then Kiwi Kid kept leaving lane. And they didn't punish Core JJ for it. They didn't shove him in. They didn't get the turret. Kiwi Kid was free to roam around the map after the bad level 1. And here, he's up against Afromu, who affects the entire map almost every game.
Very true. Never stays in that lane. He's really an all lanes kind of guy.
Yeah, Sheep
can't be held down.
Ash have to be able to punish what Afromu does, or else he's just going to run away with the game. It's one of those supports that you rarely see where his effect on the game is astronomical.
That's true. Something we'll keep an eye on. LeBlanc, Morgana already out for Counter Logic Gaming. Lysandra and Rek'Sai as well. Definitely seeing the global presence of Rek'Sai within the last game and how just big she can get.
And Smithy played that for the first time last week, or yesterday.
Right.
So that immediately draws a ban out of them.
Maokai for the top lane. Too much safety for Chris. They want to put him on something that they can get to him. A lot of teams have focused when he's not on that Aurelia. When he is, he's pretty slippery, but...
That's the thing, though, is they might give Chris Aurelia in this game, and we were talking about comfort champions.
Yeah.
He might be able to pick that one up for himself. Zion Spartan, on the other hand, he could play that as well.
I haven't seen her too much lately. Chris has been spreading out that champion pool from Caston, Maokai, Gnar, Rumble, Kennen. So that Kennen, however, goes over to Zion Spartan. He played Hack Room yesterday. That got quickly banned out. We will not be seeing that game once again. So Coast now to pick up their first 2. We'll see if they show the composition or decide to keep it in the dark.
And this is the first time we'll be seeing Zion Spartan on Kennen in the top lane. This is a team fight oriented champion that has some lane bullying and has some mild wave clear and turret pushing. But Kennen split push is not very prevalent. You want the Kennen in the team fight. And that's something that Zion Spartan has become very good at this season.
Which is weird, because that was not Zion Spartan before. And it was teams kind of being like, we'd love to change the way Zion plays. But then he plays Jax next game, right? And he does inhibitor and turret pushing, and he just splits all day. They said they wouldn't change him here, but it's kind of like he's just evolved naturally into what he does now.
This isn't even his final form.
He's still going.
He just keeps growing. Now he's whipping out that Kennen for the first time. And that was the thing, too, is the split push. People are like, oh, he's pulling a Zion Spartan. He's ignoring the team fight, and he's going in. Even people who weren't Zion Spartan were pulling Zion Spartans. Now, he's a team fight monster.
That he is. People are afraid when he enters the fray. And he'll be happy with his pick already. Can start to give a little more info onto the team and his 2 cents as they go down the line. Janna seen not too much lately, but Sheep's going to take his hand at that one. And we also have a Lee Sin. Well, we did see her yesterday. Good pickup for the Kennen, rather, but coming back because of him.
Sheep on Janna, not going to have the aggression in the lane that they had the other day, or at least the type of aggression that Sheep has liked to apply as a player. And there we go, double lift, locking in the Kalista.
Sheep didn't seem too happy about that, or maybe he just didn't mind, and they were like, well, we'll see what happens. Looking at the picks, though, that's reactive already, the Janna to a Kennen. So now they're kind of building a composition around what they've seen. And not
the Lee Sin does it too.
Right.
The Lee Sin pick, the Janna ultimate, you keep them out.
That's a good point.
If they wanted to shut it down even more, they could pick the Tristana. Like, you can use your Janna ultimate as the Buster Shots flying out, and then they get knocked back twice. It goes flying, it goes flying even further. But the thing here is they can pick a Graves to counter the Kalista. They can pick a Sivir and shove the wave. But they're going to go with the Graves, and they're going to try to counter this Kalista. This is actually one of the best lanes against Kalista, because in order to beat Kalista, you have to auto-attack, trade her early, and wave clear. And Janna helps Graves do both of those.
So, got that damage lockdown, or rather, CC lockdown, I should say, when Chris will be able to get in range. Hopefully he can. That's what Kalista's best at, is kiting her opponents. Seeing what CLG will pan this out with. Last 2 picks to come in. I like what Coast has put in their inventory for champions in those last 2. As we were saying, it's going to help. Definitely in the laning phase. Afromu still looking for support this game. What's he going to be going around on? Thresh is still available for him. So is his Blitzcrank. So is Braum recently, but that seemed more of a composition pick coming in for CLG. And they go for the Zed and a Thresh pickup.
2 playmakers locked in for the last 2 picks for CLG. No real tank on this lineup. Smithy's the only one who will have that duty later on. But right now, it's all about split pushing with Link and then fighting with the rest of the team. So CLG have a really good composition for the way they like to dictate how the map is going to go in their favor. They can even 1-3-1 with Zion. Coast need to be able to react to that. And Chris, he got a comfort champion. Coast's only win this season is with Chris on Aurelia, and it's a game he took over going 10-1-10.
That's true. That first week for him even surprised his own team. We had Impaler say in the interview, it was like, Chris carried. Yeah, that was weird. But yeah, he had some crazy games. This will be the second time for Link on Zed. He was able to take down Counterlogic Gaming's High on LeBlanc, but this time it's going to be against ManCloud's Ari. We'll see how that goes for him in the mid lane. Definitely able to keep safe and keep poking out that orb of deception. ManCloud hasn't had the greatest showing in the mid lane. Talked about some struggles being back on the stage that he's able to shake off, but they may still be affecting him.
It's definitely a different environment than he was used to.
Saying.
See if he's adjusted in this time that he's been with Coast in the second half of the split for them. There are still games left for Coast, but this is the one that seals their fate if they lose it.
So looking at this composition now, has Coast kind of created that comfort / composition that will work together?
It looks like it. It looks like they really went for comfort champions here. Sheep's Janna is basically right up in his top tier. Mash has a good champion for him, up against Doubleless Kalista. And then Impaler on the Lee Sin. And came over to North America. He was able to become more of a playmaker. We didn't see him doing a whole lot of back when he was in Europe.
That's true. A timely handshake that time. A quick half second is all the gesture you need to shake someone's hand. So we're about to get to our last game here of Week 7. We will see if Counterlogic Gaming can take down Coast, or Coast will get one of their biggest upsets here of the split before the shots start flying. However, on the Rift, head over to Twitter and show some team love. Tweet hashtag CLG win or hashtag CST win to @LOL Esports, and we'll be counting those up throughout the game as usual. But let's head into that game. Let's get on to the Rift, and let's see what Coast can do in the do-or-die situation with all the pressure on the line.
And I'm really going to keep an eye on Sheep this game and how he answers Afro move, because he can take over a game, and he allowed Kiwi Kid to yesterday. So Sheep, he's got to be on his game.
See what they can do here. And Afromu says the recipe for a good support roam is 2 parts good intel to 1 part element of surprise, then shaken, not stirred.
You also have to be James Bond when you go and try and gank mid lane, because if you gank mid lane, you know, flash stun, whatever you have, and then their team is like sitting there waiting for you to do that, you're screwed. So it's very important that you keep track of the support.
The name's Moo. Afro Moo.
See if he can go 007 in his scoreline today. But he's got to be able to keep Sheep on the ropes. But on the Janna, it's not that hard to outroam a Janna.
Right now, just the early wards, as we would expect.
So
this one, some good vision.
Coast actually get to ward both sides of the jungle, both side lanes. They will know the lane swaps because they get vision on both sides, right? Which is much better than having to guess. Somebody backs.
They're pinging out the path that Doublelift should take, though. He is actually going to dodge these wards if he heads in towards the Wolves right now, then up and right past blue.
Zigzag!
Yep. Keeping himself safe. So nicely done by CLG to keep that knowledge.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is you don't get to cover as many places when you spread your wards so thin. If you allocate them all to one side, then stuff like this can happen.
Oh, stuff like this did happen. And it looks like they're going to have all 4 to the top side. A lot of pressure there. And we'll see the same towards the bottom side of the map for Coast. They figured out the lanes will not be matching up. We see that they will also freeze them quite hard on both sides.
And you really want that freeze for both of these in the early game. Taking that turret early stops you from continuing to farm up minions to your BF sword. You allow pressure to be exerted on you. Then the TP can come in and they can soak experience.
That's kind of the situation we saw, right, where teams would take it down and then they take down the other ones and they're like, well, we don't have enough strength to take down the shielded seconders, so we'll just kind of hang around for a while.
And then the wave just keeps pushing towards them at the tier 2, and it's like, oh, I can kind of cash in on this every 45 seconds. Go do something else on the map as a top laner.
So, Scuttle control coming out for CLG. top side and bottom side respectively. Coast got theirs. Pan out. Who teleports back to the lane first? Zion's Kennen doesn't have the greatest time trying to 2v1 CS. The cooldowns are a bit too high and not enough auto attack damage. But I see it better for Chris. Let's see what they decide to do here as they keep double in the jungle.
It's a very standard start here. Nobody's made any mistakes freezing yet. It takes a little bit for that to kind of show itself. And CLG is the type of team that preys on mistakes very quickly in a lane swap. There's a reason that this whole thing about scrims only lasting 10 minutes has been happening for a while.
Well, CLG already has something on the docket to check off here, and it is a mid lane gank, 3 strong. I don't know if they're going to get success on this, however. It does not look like it. ManCloud's playing very safe now in this situation.
Playing off to the strong side of the map because he knows that the enemy jungler, there's no way he's by his teammates down in the south side jungle. So Coast are going to go towards that dragon. They have this part of the map for themselves, so it's free for them. And Mash actually got a good freeze that pushes towards him. The double lift, they're actually going to muscle this turret down in the top lane right now.
Nicely played. Changing things up. You got to consider that CLG says it's all right that they have the lane swap on the bottom. Yeah, they're going to have to muscle this one quite hard. But 4 members, they should be able to do it.
So here's the thing: is this going to be an unanswered turret because 4 people showed up there immediately. Coast backed, and Mash is still freezing. So this is going to be bonus gold for CLG.
To no gold.
Exactly.
Just the dragon.
And if they let every minion die too. If it's frozen in a certain way, it'll start pushing back out towards that top lane.
It's about how Coast reacts now, right? How do they stop CLG from pretty much having the upper hand here? Just very slightly. Gold is actually still even due to a bit of farm in the lanes.
So they get top turret, and Mash is like, we have to fast push this. Zion TP's bottom to soak the experience. So he can no longer keep shoving.
That's what happens when you're the one making the moves. You look quickly, and you can see the other team is trying to react to them. That's what Zion Spartan does, so he saves all damage besides what the minions can put on this in the bottom lane. 42 to 36. Double Lift still going to get his farm in these lanes, but looks like now they're going to be matching up, so they may try to go hard.
Yeah, when your opponent makes the first move in a lane swap that kind of, everybody's like, all right, we will go about our business, we will do the farming, and somebody's like, wait, I don't agree to that, and they throw down the glove, and they're like, we're going to take this turret. You have to answer very quickly and in the appropriate manner, and if you don't, you end up on bottom, and it's kind of like check. Because they come up with a big advantage, 600 gold already in this game. Just off of the turret, they get to throw their lane to the bottom, and Mash has to back, gets his pickaxe to double lift, working on what looks like his Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah, could be. A lot of paths there coming out of the Scepter of the Dagger. 6 minutes in, we finally get the duo lanes back here. Looks like there's still a bit of roaming from Sheep to get all the vision they want here in the bottom lane. We may get a little bit of help from Impaler as well. Kind of just milling about. Keeping Mash safe though, making sure he's good to go. He's definitely changed his play style this year from the guy we used to know to play Twitch all the time and try to carry the game to somebody who's really more team oriented, trying to make the plays together.
Pink ward here. So Impaler knows that he's safe, but this is a relatively safe bottom lane, especially when it hits 6. So CLG actually in a good spot. Afromu can just Lantern double lift out, and if he postures for it, this would be an extremely forced gank from Impaler, especially with the Janna support.
Yep.
It's not something that locks you up.
Afromu is easily standing far enough back, not horizontal with double lift, which means it's always going to work when he throws the Lantern out. They're always going to be able to throw him to safety.
Got some Coast fans in the house.
Oh, it's 53 to 47 on the boat. Got a lot of love out here.
Yeah, they definitely need it. They really need to hear you guys cheering for them because they do too.
There's an S in there too.
Yeah, yeah. I heard it. I was like, is that an S? No?
There's it's back and forth.
But regardless, you can see both fan bases really wanting their team to perform well in this. CLG, CX Smithy making his way down bottom. Afromu posturing blind. Woo. Doesn't get the blind hook.
Nope.
And Smithy finds that pink ward.
They also keep pink ward coverage in the bottom lane for themselves. Impaler did not decide to move in for anything cheeky there. Smithy straight back to his jungle, so it doesn't look like CLG wants to pressure anything in the lanes too hard. 52 to 60 in this lane as ManCloud's able to get a pretty good push on and keep himself healthy. We got 7 to 7, however, in this lane, so you might just see Link trying to get some ultimates in and then back out just to do the damage.
And ManCloud has actually had okay CS at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Saw him out CS Jurgensen for a
the
little
first
bit.
game.
He had some really good pressure off the back of some jungle attention, but the way that he ends up playing the lane allows him to be solo killed quite frequently.
Those 2 hits, he just took 2 free damage, and with Link chugging a potion, he's back up, so the kill could definitely be pressured there. Zion Spartan now 41 to 30 in the duo lanes that actually matched up quite fast again. Rather, the lane swap, I should say, that matched up quite fast. And that leaves him, looks like he's building towards the Haunting Guys to start as well.
Zion's got this huge wave that he gets to push out. Now he gets to do whatever he wants. He can leave the top lane. Chris would have to answer with a teleport or risk losing all of these minions. Aurelia's wave clear is very, very low. And instead he's going to stay and he's going to continue to just get more items, heal, or farm up, and then get to those item break points where he can just shove him in even harder and then be more effective in the team fights. And you can actually see right now, Smithy walks over a ward from Chris, but he's pressuring that top lane immediately. And Impaler is trying to answer in the mid here. Oh, hook on Mash.
4th hook on the Mash. I think we're going to get action just everywhere across the board here. No. Impaler says they don't want mid. He's going to focus down towards the bottom. Double lift is quite hurt. We're going to see Impaler walking over the pink ward here, and they could be in some trouble. He's just going to stop for the ward, and they get to safety. Good pressure coming in from Mash and Sheep. Probably would have thought that CLG was going to be coming out in the engagements in that bottom lane, but they handled that hook nicely with the exhaust.
Yeah, this bot lane matchup is actually very difficult for Kalista. So Double Lift, he's actually allowing this to leash itself so that he can get the lifesteal from his Vamp Scepter, and it actually has more effective HP because it keeps going back and forth. Ooh! Nobody saw that.
That was close. Saw the flash and the hooks, Irene.
Yeah, the attempt to make a play there with the exhaust down and Double Lift at half HP.
Yeah.
It's a bold move from Afro Moon.
It was. His gadgets aren't working just right. He hasn't calibrated them yet. And once he gets that going, he'll be in 007 mode. 10.5 into this one. Pretty close on gold. It's just that one turret that CLG was able to put down. And it seemed like they did it due to that current situation. Now they're trying to find a little bit more into the mid lane. But that's a blue buffed Ahri. Probably just dash away.
Actually just did some math. Coast after this game is not actually auto-relegated because there's the possibility of them winning all 4 after this and Winter Fox losing all 4 after.
Right, and then Winter Fox is auto-relegated.
No, then Winter Fox and then play a tiebreaker.
Oh.
Oh wait, they would have to beat them the last day. That's right, because they would be 2-0 over Winter Fox and they would own the tiebreaker.
Winter Fox.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. It's a tall order though.
It's a very tall order. They need to turn on the afterburners for the second half of this split here in the spring. I think Smithy's starting to get his Raptor down so they can get more coverage out, which they're already starting to push forward. Looks like they have advantage of that Wisp as well. So another Dragon, second one of the game. This one to CLG with really no movement available from Coast to go onto this one. So CLG start to make their moves. Obviously, we're really okay with just giving up that first Dragon. They lost practically nothing and knew that the map control would be theirs just a little bit time later. Nicely played. The gold lead almost stretching to 1,000 now. And we'll see if Link starts to get his roam on. We'll see how these lanes start to pan out. It's been pretty quiet on the home front here at 0-0.
But this is how CLG games have been going, where they'll get a tiny lead off of the lane swap, and we saw them not get, oh, Link!
First blood, but the plays! Oh, so close! Link taking a few turret shots, but gets ManCloud first blood. Didn't need Afro on the side there.
Yep, 10 minutes shorter than it was the other day. But right now, ManCloud in this mid lane, I can't remember how many times he's been solo killed in his games during the laning phase. He is so catchable and so exploitable in his play.
Right.
Especially when he's up against a Zed.
Well, highest kills, right, for a split. He was the guy that was able to do it. He definitely likes to kill people. And when you do that, you're going to put yourself into a fighting situation sometimes. guess everybody's been able to get his number, though.
He's
not
up
coming
in
out
CS,
for him.
too. Like, he's
Right,
up in CS over his lane opponent. He's in a good position.
Oh,
and then he forces it.
dear.
Oh, the TP. They really want Impaler.
Fade's call in. Wow. Yeah, wow, indeed.
Obliterated.
A teleport in from Zion Spartan. His lane was pushed. I mean, he's got not much else to do here, and it looks like they're going to focus onto the bottom lane. So always looking to get something after they take a small advantage.
And Zion Spartan, because he shoves that wave out, he's not going to miss a whole lot of CS.
Yep.
Or any at all for the most part. He's going to miss about 3, maybe 4 by the time that he gets up there, especially since he's Kennen with the Lightning Rush.
Mash chambers the collateral damage and fires it off to clear the minion wave. That knows that Kennen won't be there, but Zion Spartan was backing anyways. May not have needed to do that. Chris might be able to get a good pressure on this turret, but he doesn't have too many forward wards that Coast has actually been able to place at all this game.
We got to watch it now because I said it. He missed 2. He missed 2 minions.
Keep an eye on it, for
you
sure.
go. Yeah, and that's just because of the wave management of Zion Spartan, where he shoves the wave out before he makes a play. These are premeditated, where he knows he's going to go to that ward. Chris might be looking to make a play.
This is
with
scary.
Impaler.
I don't know. Yeah, okay. If Impaler's there, he can get him. Chris's ultimate being down would mean Zion gets away, but very hurt. Plays to the bot lane almost as well. Mash Me taking a few hits. It looks like he gets out with a lightning rush. Nicely done there. Man Cloud, the death mark instantly from Blink as he comes back, knowing that even if he hits it and gets out, Man Cloud can't sustain that damage.
Yeah, and that gave Link the Blade of the Ruined King up over him. So really, really big spike there for the Zed. And now he just gets to completely dictate this lane.
Yeah.
But Man Cloud, he goes and he gets himself a first item Zhonya's Hourglass to try and deal with that.
I'd say that'd help.
Yes,
that'd
it would
help
definitely
a little bit, Zyrene. Good pickup for Man Cloud. We'll see if Link actually looks for other targets now, which could mean bad things for Mash and Impaler if he finds them in the jungle. They will kind of congregate towards mid lane on the side of Coast to stop this pressure from happening, but now CLG starts to move in. They start to steal because they think everything is theirs.
Oh, he stole the lantern. Smithy. Here comes the collapse, the TP.
What a box. They can't really follow up Chris here. He gets absolutely taken down. Man Cloud flashes in.
He has no
Spirit
ulti.
Rush is down, which means that flash puts him in the fight to be cooked up here by Counter Logic Gaming. Double Lift does get taken down. That was a flash in Monsoon for Sheep trying to make an incredible play that was very hard to be made.
Zion Spartan gets to shove the top lane, though,
right,
because of the waves from Zion Spartan. This guy is really good at his top lane wave management and knowing how to set up a fight and when to just shove a turret in.
Now he's back to Zion mode.
Yeah.
He switches.
There's a team fight? Where's the team? I don't
Turn it
care
off,
about
turn it on. Back to the split push. It's not necessarily the Jax sound, but it still works. The turret falls down. That's the sound they're really looking for. And we said CLG's last game was pretty clean. This one is getting swept up just as clean as well.
Yeah, no mistakes in the early game. They take the turret, they get themselves a 600, 700 gold lead, and then they take fights when it's opportune for them.
Yep.
They take skirmishes and fights where they have a numbers advantage. The solo kill in the mid lane also opened up the map for them off of the back of Link. I'm looking for even more right now. Deathmark up.
Look at, they have the wards that are up here. Chris did not even have a ward there. It's going to be a good bit of damage. The Deathmark lands one last Q. He flashes for it. Gives him a quick spin move and takes the Shadow ultimate right back to Smithy.
Link is going to take over this game very shortly now.
Here's
the collapse around them, though.
We said, when would Link start going for other targets?
Oh, my God.
Oh, right back into him with Fate's Call.
You gonna turn it?
Gets absolutely shredded by that Randy. Hits the next hook as well, but they can't follow up. Man Cloud runs himself down from the mid lane, but now look at the mid lane. That's going to be Zion and Smithy getting a push on if they want it.
Immediately there's an opening, and immediately they're like, all right, we're going to make some creeps die to the turret and deny experience. Even that is just a tiny lead. You do that. You do that over and over and over again, and you slowly create a gap of CS lead, experience lead over your opponent. And CLG are really good at doing that repetitively.
Yep.
Like it's very patient play from them. They don't get very impatient with that where it's like, oh, I have to shove this turret down and overstay for it. We see a lot of just tiny, minuscule, oh, I got 2 or 3 CS denied from them.
Yep.
And they do that. You do that 3 times, you keep adding it up.
Afro moves 4 away from 007's, Irene. It's close.
He's going to do it this game.
He's going to do it.
He's going to do it this game.
I believe.
He said he was James Bond. Afro Moo isn't a liar.
Oh, no! Afro Moo could go down. He flashes out. He's safe. That was his clone. He used a clone gadget, got out safely. Coast almost figured it out, though. They want these kills. They're still trying to make plays, not putting themselves out of this just yet, but it is going to be tough to make these plays work. CLG going for Dragon here. Maybe enough of a distraction that Chris can get this top turret, gain a little bit back, and hopefully spread some gold out to the team. Dragon will not be contested here by Coast. And again, to the top lane, the turret gets saved. Zion's teleport is ready to go.
Yep, all that delicious farm there.
Crazy. He's missing hardly any this game.
Like Zion to a minion wave, it's like moth to a flame. One day,
he'll find it.
One day, people will punish him for these things.
Yep. They got to be in position for it first.
Yeah, you have to set up for it ahead of time.
Take somebody out as soon as they teleport. You're like, oh, he'll farm the lane, and then absolutely taken out. Ooh, a nice over-the-shoulder hook charm there coming from ManCloud.
Got
but the ultimate, right? Yep. The ultimate was used, so that is big. We saw ManCloud not afraid to kind of flash in last fight with that down. He may not do that coming up on the next one due to the results of the last situation. But these guys are kind of reaching for their kills, and it's starting to cost them.
CLG don't overreach for kills too much. Smithy was in a position to ultimate there to chase down, possibly let Link collapse, but it's not worth it for the possibility of a kill.
Right.
CLG likes guarantees on things.
There's even times in this game, or in previous games, we've seen Alframu get that hook on Mash or Impaler in the bottom lane, and then they didn't take it necessarily. ManCloud came out of the brush just after. It was the right decision. They don't always go hard. Like you said, it's when they know they can take it. Looks like it is going to be a Bloodthirster after the Hurricane built up from Double Lift.
All right.
So he is going for that attack speed and a little bit of sustain for himself.
So the Vamp Scepter worked out perfectly because it allowed him to stay in lane even after getting chunked down, despite it being his second item. You usually see this type of build from a Kalista with the Runettes Hurricane, just because it's so powerful and synergizes so well with her kit. Bloodthirster versus Blade of the Ruined King. Depends on the matchup. Chris basically pulls out his swords early, but Mash,
Mash,
he gets stunned.
They had a ward that saw Double Lift and everybody coming through, but still, the roam was started before Mash moved, and CLG is able to pick it up, even though that Coast is trying to set up the wards. Top lane works out for him, though. They force off Link, and they're able to grab a turret, but that's their first one of the game at 20 minutes.
Yeah, and Zion had to go to that bottom side of the map, makes a play for his team. He loses top turret, and Link soaks up the minion wave. They do not let these minion waves die without somebody soaking experience or gold.
So knowing that as CounterLogic Gaming pushes here on the bottom side, they are going to want to roam early. Why don't we see teams kind of warding that out, putting wards exactly where Aframu's lane is so he can't leave?
Well, the thing is Coast right now, all their wards are on the top side of the map. You can see it's just littered with Coast wards. That is their jungle. Nobody can tell them differently.
That's true.
But the bottom side is all CLGs. They have so many pink wards set up that getting control of this would take all the members of Coast, and CLG will push your top lane at that part. Once they get their foot in the door, it's really hard to get CLG out of an area. And they keep shoving this bottom wave down, and they have the split push pressure from Link in the top lane. Nobody can dual Link at this moment. So they're going to have to use more than one person. But look at that. They see two people there. That's go time to shove this turret because they have a numbers advantage. CLG likes guarantees.
Oh, the charm just missing Zion Spartan. That would be big since he does not have the Zanyas yet. He provides a lot of crowd control for these guys. And as we were on that fight, notice Chris picking up Sork boots on his Aurelia in the Triforce.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll make his E do a little bit more damage.
Yeah.
And
different.
That's
different.
That's about it. That's all it will do for him.
So they're pushing.
We got that out of the way.
CLG's in the fight. Whoa,
kick.
A little too hard there. That's what happens when you don't have the vision going into a fight. Link gets himself into a scary spot. The team seems like they can save off the rest of the engaged sheep. The exhaust on a double lift. Chris gonna dive in, but he gets instantly locked up. It did not seem like everybody was on the same page there. The Choose Your Own Adventure is now in favor of CounterLogic Gaming. They choose to go right to the end of the book on that one. ManCloud goes down. Flash for flash, eye for an eye as they move into the base. Inhibitor turret will fall. 1 minute and 40 on Dragon. I don't even know if it's going to be a necessary action for CounterLogic Gaming here as they're putting their foot down inside the base of Coast.
Even though they killed Link, we'll talk about that in a second. Still fighting.
Pushed off. That very nice Monsoon to pretty much just keep that inhibitor alive for a little bit longer, but it's going to go down with the pressure counter logic game he can put on. Also, Chris has sold the boots. He's got his no magic mantle and the regulars.
Yeah, you know, it looks like it might be Merc Treads. They're blue boots.
See what happens here.
People make mistakes, right? Link went too hard on that. He got collapsed on by 3 people. They immediately pinged. But look at that minion wave in the top lane.
When it was, yeah.
Exactly. MASH had to go top. So despite it being a 4-on-5, it was really a 4-on-4 without the AD carry or mid laner being there across the sides because MASH had to go top. So the kill on Link actually didn't mean a whole lot because of the minion wave top, which drew a person from Coast.
He's 2-1-2 as well, so not too much shutdown gold would be going over to Impaler. Looks like he's going to get himself a Randuin's with some of that gold. Youmuu's, and looks like it's going to be a last whisper quite soon for Link's Zed. Also those mobility boots so he can get himself from lane to lane to make the plays. CLG continuing to stay on their extended part of the jungle. They've taken over from Coast now. This has been theirs for pretty much the last 5-6 minutes. Looks like they're going to use it completely to keep getting fights on Coast from the side. And Dragon.
Yep, Dragon 3 for CLG here. Coast around the Baron.
Do it.
But they're backing. Do it.
Do it.
It would be they'd have to rush it like right now.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that they have minion wave shoving into their base, the bot side, the opposite side of Baron. And Zion Spartan, he's going to be in this top lane, clearing this wave that's been slowly pushing back towards him because it bounced off the turret.
Sitting on a ward. All right, CLG's getting a little too ahead of themselves here without clearing out what's around them. They just walked past 2 big wards towards that red side. I think it's going to be seen. Yeah, Smithy gets them. All right, playing it safe now, keeping everything in mind. Actually, one's going to see them, and it's going to be Coast positioning themselves correctly. They have to get the right fight, though. I don't even know if it can start on their terms. It has to really be a bigger mistake than just Link dying. We saw it with him down. CLG is still able to pressure.
Yeah, it's 25 minutes in, and it's a 9,000 gold lead in favor of CLG with very few ways to come back into this. Not a whole lot of playmaking from a support on Coast's side. It's really Impaler and ManCloud. And ManCloud's he's not stacked in damage just yet.
Right.
And Impaler would just be a setup for somebody.
That's a big thing as well. If ManCloud sees situations like this, if ManCloud was bigger, that's his kill. That's somebody popped out, but Bjergsen kept him down. Solo kills in the mid lane. It makes it tough to have that solo lane carry when the other team has won both of those.
Yeah, Link did a really good job of keeping him down and blowing him up and taking advantage of his aggression early on.
It's true. ManCloud likes to get in for that CS, and he was keeping up to par with Bjergsen.
And
or rather Link.
Yeah,
but
immediately shot up.
Bjergsen.
I mean, he was ahead of Bjergsen at one point. This time, he was ahead of Link, and almost the exact same thing happened.
So true. They will continue to get all these waves crashing in. I don't know when the last time we really saw CLG on their side of the map, and it's going to be Baron for them. Contested only from the side of Raptor here. ManCloud, he's standing on the board, but still gets the hook. Exploded. Lightning strikes twice for ManCloud, and it looks like Impaler gets hit. Deathmark goes down. No chance for a smite. Doubleth says, don't worry, guys, I'm going to stay in here, but I may need some help as he goes to half health. They're back in. The Baron's going to go down. They fight 2 fights at once and get themselves to safety.
And Aphromoo definitely is 007 at this point.
Oh,
he is James Bond. He's done it.
Wow. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
When that happens, it's absolutely beautiful.
Boom.
Just like that.
The hook gadget into the flay gadget, and then the box gadget.
CLG are going to look back at this game and be like, how was that bush warded, and how was I able to get away with that with it being
That's a really good point.
Because you get the jump on that guy. You see him.
It's like you have to think ManCloud said, I'm going to charm this guy, but there could be a hook coming at my face.
There is a cast time on the charm, so he roots himself in place. And
yeah.
Aphromoos already started the hook up. It's one of those things where you have to think he's gonna do that. He's been doing it all game.
Well, if you do it a little bit faster, seems like you're the one with the upper hand. Aphromoo coming out big there. Frozen Heart for himself, which pretty much nullifies Chris and MASH. They're not going to be able to do much damage as he puts himself right in front of them. And that will happen when he gets the Fate's Call Chuck from Doublelift right in the middle of the fight. 28 minutes onto this, a 9-2 as CLG continuously, methodically making their way from side to side here on the map. Looks like they're finally done with the bottom until they want to go back for that inhibitor. Maybe it should be soon since they have Link going down there and Baron on the other members.
Link and Doublelift are both very large at this point in the game. 28 minutes in, they've already gotten 3 items for Link.
Yep.
2.5 for Doublelift. He's actually got 2 halves of 2 different items. Or I guess if it's Mercurial Scimitar.
Yeah.
But at this point, they are very big. They can split push on their own, and you see the threat of Link against this inhibitor is very real. They have to send 2 people to deal with Link, so numbers advantage in the top lane for CLG. Back off, wait for the minion wave for CLG. Link doesn't even have to.
Boom, Youmuu's gotta go fast, swinging his arms like he's a crazed man. Takes down the inhibitor. CLG easily spreading coast in now. It's just not something that they can deal with. How will CLG put the finishing touches on, though? Is it going to be that Vault Breaker, Assault and Battery onto somebody? Or is it going to be the Fate's Call start off with the Afromove's hook?
Oh, engage on double.
It's going to be on a double lift. The Lantern was there immediately, already in place, foreshadowing the gank coming in from Coast as Doublelift made his way to the front line. Safety in the danger that CLG creates somehow, and they're able to keep pushing through.
It's another open inhibitor for them, but Link, he hasn't been a part of any of these pushes because he's got his own thing going on.
He's playing his own game.
Yeah.
It's solo Link. Turret defense here.
So he's going
to be taking him down. This inhibitor is going to fall as well. Coast, the ultimate for Mash comes out, which means it won't be used in the 5v5. That's the hit onto ManCloud. Can't take down Zion Spartan just yet. He wakes up to a thunderstorm, but they're able to get out of that one. ManCloud still goes down. 40 seconds on the clock for these. Sheep's gonna get popped. Somebody gets a new code off of that one, even with the heal. And 30 minutes on the clock. Looks like the base is gonna fall for Coast.
Very methodical game from CLG. Again,
Yep.
perfection in the early game. Then they didn't even have to team fight. They just split push you to death.
That's the thing. They avoid you as they take what they want. They've been doing it for the past few games. They started it this season with a bit of a folly in that situation, but it seems like they figured out what they want to do continuously with these compositions, whether it be experimental or not. And they're going to come out with another victory. Counter Logic Gaming moving themselves to 10-4 as they take down Coast.
And they remain in second place behind TSM.